Over the last week we've been filming in Dekac. We were filming some fish feeding in some fish ponds near the Dapitan Aqua Marine Park when we came across 3 green sea turtles that were being held captive in the fish feeding ponds, which are brackish water. So after negotiations with the local authorities, we think we've managed to agree their release, which we're now going to do today. So we're now at the Dapitan Aqua Marine Park, just about to board the river cruise boat to take us down to the fish ponds where we're going to collect the turtles and then take them up to the ocean to let them go. So fingers crossed, everything goes well.
I know, I'll never make a presenter, and doing these speeches off the top of your head is really hard. Anyway, I guess you got the gist of what's going on here. Just by chance we saw a turtle in one of the fish ponds a few days ago. Then it transpires there are, we think, 3 turtles in the ponds. We raised the subject with the chairman of the Dakac Park Beach Resort, Mr. Romeo Holossos, and the mayor of Dapitan, Mrs. Patchy Chan, and asked for their support in securing the release of the turtles. 2 days later, after a few phone calls to the right people, bingo, we think we got the go-ahead. We've had a 20-minute ride upriver on the riverboat to get to the fish ponds. Everyone is nervous as we don't actually know for sure how many turtles there are, what condition they are in, and if they will let us take them to be released. We arrive at the fish ponds. This is where tourists can come to feed or fish for the milkfish or tilapia in the ponds. On arrival, we are given the good news. We do have permission to take the turtles, and there are 3 green turtles. In next to no time, the first one is captured by Ernesto, one of the fish pond employees. Before we got here, we had been discussing how we were going to transport the turtles from the fish ponds and onto the riverboat. Ernesto wasn't aware of our concerns towards the turtles' welfare and literally took the matter into his own hands, so to speak.
Oh my goodness.
Why are we doing it like this?
No water.
Sige, buta lang kayo. Okay lang na. You just have to hold it. Okay.
Ernesto carries the first one onto the riverboat, which in turn starts off further discussions on how we can get the turtles onto the boat, but try and minimise the obviously high stress levels they are enduring. Why the turtles were here in the first place remained a mystery. A number of explanations were received from different people, ranging from they had been here for years since they were very small and they could be looked after in the fish ponds, to they have been caught up in fishermen's nets by accident and then brought here. In my books, none of them being acceptable, hence why we were doing what we were doing today. Anna and Dapal somehow managed to rustle up a large sack to put the turtles onto. It works like a treat.
Wait lang.
Ernesto captures the last one. This turtle was the one I saw a few days ago. It had been given a clean by the workers to try and smarten up its shell, and it was the unusual whiteness of something moving through the water that originally caught my eye. Only moments later did I realise it was actually a turtle. In hindsight, I guess you could say that the shell scrub had quite literally saved 3 turtles of a life in a horrible captivity.
Excellent.
Video. Salamat kaayo, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, good.
Salamat.
We're very grateful, good. May balik sa dagat. Thank you. Step 1. Phase 1.
With the turtles safely on board, we set off for the ocean and freedom for the three ladies. I have to admit to being genuinely nervous. None of us have done anything like this before, and we are feeling the responsibility to keep the turtle's stress level as low as possible before we get them to the sea. Previously, we had asked the local vet for advice, which was pretty much useless, and we asked the local branch of the DENR, Department of Environment and Natural Resources, for advice and help. We got neither. So we pretty much had to make it up as we went along. Pauli and Anna had done a brilliant job in arranging the riverboat, and also coming up with the idea of using the tables as an enclosure, which I thought was particularly inspired as the turtles could move freely if they wanted to.
Success! Stage 1 complete. We've managed to pick the turtles up from the fish pond, now on the riverboat, out to open sea.
Now, a riverboat is called a riverboat for a very good reason. And rivers this boat was designed for don't have waves, whereas where we are going on the sea does. And very soon the waves start making life a little bit bumpy. Pauli is pouring seawater on the turtles to keep them wet. Maybe this helps them keep their stress levels down, who knows. But I wonder if they can sense the salt in the water and realise what it will mean for them very soon. It's getting really quite bumpy now. This boat isn't designed for conditions like this, and sure enough the fixing point between the boat and the platform breaks. We're about 15 minutes away from the beach we intended to go to, but the riverboat won't make it. We get close to the shore into calmer waters to unhook the platform and transfer the turtles onto the boat. Naturally, we are concerned about causing the turtles more stress by moving them onto the boat, but we feel it's worth the risk so that we can take them to Nude Beach, which is not far from Dakak Park Beach Resort, rather than letting them go now, which is still close to the river mouth. We had previously asked DNER to come along and give us some help and advice, and also tag the turtles for future identification, but as they didn't bother to show up, we chose not to try and do any DIY tagging or take measurements of the shell, etc. We've been joined by Roel, who's the aquasports manager from Dakak Park Beach Resort. Hopefully, in the future, he'll have encounters with the turtles when diving around the local area. We try and give the turtles first-class service by putting them in white fluffy towels to protect them from the sun. It's getting really exciting now. We are less than 15 minutes away from Nude Beach and freedom for the turtles. As we really don't know how long the turtles have been in captivity, although about a year seems to be the most likely time, we are obviously concerned if they will be able to fend for themselves back in the wild. The consensus between us is that they will fare a much better chance of a natural life in the ocean rather than a horrible captivity in the fish ponds. Without further ado, upon reaching Nude Beach, the first turtle is released.
Here he goes, little fella.
Release?
Yeah. Go, fella.
Who knows if the turtles are aware of what's going on and if they recognise that they now have their freedom. Maybe it's just us being romantic to think that the turtles will appreciate their new lease of life back in the wild. I have to admit that every time I think about the turtles swimming around where they belong, I well up. I can't help it. Maybe I'm just a sentimental old hairy-ass builder from England, but to see such innocent, magnificent, wild creatures being kept in a horrible captivity for the amusement of man upsets me.
Yeah.
And to see them released back into the wild where they belong is a true joy to watch. For the last turtle, I wanted to film the moment of release underwater, but the visibility is too low in the shallows. But it doesn't matter. What really matters is that there are 3 more turtles back in the ocean. Good luck, girl.
It's been a brilliant morning. We've managed to release 3 green sea turtles back into the wild from a very nasty captivity, mainly to the efforts of Anna, Siobhan, Roel, Darps and Rio. Yay! Yay!